toy fans, Aaron here. Today we're going to take a look at the 6-inch Black Series 2-pack Toys R Us exclusive. This is a mouthful. Admiral Ackbar and First Order Officer. So let's head to that table and check them out. And starting first with the packaging, since that's what I like to do. You get your red and black box. I would say, though, it seems to be awfully big for what it needs to be. I mean, I get that it's two figures, but you get a lot of dead space off to the side, especially on the right. Otherwise, though, you still get a good look at the figures that you're getting. Nice artwork in the bottom right corner of Admiral Ackbar and this generic First Order Officer, I'm guessing at this point. One thing that is missing, since this is the Toys R Us exclusive, is that little silver sticker. But then again, we didn't get that with Commander Gree either this year. Heading on to the side, no number since this is an exclusive, as I just mentioned. And then flipping on over to the back side, of course, you get your write-up about Admiral Ackbar being a Grand Admiral in the New Republic. You can pause that and read it. And then on the other half of the figure, you get a little write-up about the First Order. Just a very generic write-up here. Once again, you can pause and read that. Starting first with Admiral Ackbar out of the packaging. And I gotta say, top to bottom, this is a pretty good-looking figure. I do kind of wonder, though, if his skin tone is just a bit too dark. Maybe a bit more of a dark rust color than it needs to be. I don't know. That could just be splitting hairs here. But going in on that head area, you got great sculpting through there with lots of detailing around the eyes, along the chin with all those little lines of whatever you'd call those little flappy things hanging down. Really a nice looking paint job in the eye area. And I like the way you get the fading of that skin tone being darker at the front of the face, going lighter towards the back, and then you get a few little red splotches through the back of the head area. So overall, really, I think a great looking paint job through there. Going in through the main body, that shirt, it's a pretty generic looking outfit. It's as you would expect. The wrinkles of the fabric are molded into the plastic. You get a little light blue emblem there that's painted nicely on his left side of his chest. Through the arm area, pretty good painting of the lobster color. A little bit of black, I don't know lobsters, but little black underneath the forearm at the tips of the fingers and stuff. And then for the pan area, of course, it's just molded plastic, gray color, so no painting to worry about there. Until you get down to the boots, where things are looking good there, at least, the lines of separation are pretty good. You get some nice detailing in his boots as well, with the straps up top and various patterns molded into the boot itself. As for articulation, first up in this head area, a bit of a surprise. I think the 3 3/4 inch version might have had this. I actually never found one, but you open up that head and mouth opens up. So that's something nice to get through there. Otherwise, though, in that head area, you don't get any turning. And it's actually not because of the way this piece is around the neck, but as you open the mouth, I doubt you can see in there, but the post is kind of shaped in a manner where it wouldn't be able to twist anyways. But anyways, as for the rest of the articulation, of course, you get your normal stuff. That shoulder's going to come out. Both of them pretty good right there, and then spinning around. At the elbow area, you get a pretty good bend in there. And then, of course, that swivels around. At the wrist area, of course, the hand turns. And then side-to-side motion on there. That's a really great range of motion through there. And then on his right hand, same thing. Side-to-side movement, of course, your rotation. As far as the articulation at the waist, you're able to twist and turn the figure around pretty well. And not all that much for bending, just a little bit. And then for the legs, of course, you're able to bring them out, forward, and then back a bit. You get your turning at the top of the thigh. Knee joints are double jointed, so a little tight there, but there we go. And then for the foot area, of course, forward and back, no problem, and you get your twisting. And Ackbar does come with one blaster, and it looks to be like a kind of an updated version of the Rebel blaster that we're used to seeing. I'll slide into the shot here, the one that came with Maz, so you can kind of see the difference. But otherwise, it is looking good. Nice sculpting to it. I like the silver paint detailing on it. So yeah, that's a blaster. Sliding on now to the First Order Officer. And, at this point, we're just going to assume this is some generic guy since, well, I haven't seen the movie yet. And he's not really given a name on the packaging. But I like that. You always need just your generic nobody trooper that, you could either army build with or something, that's always a good thing to have in the line. Going in closer on the head sculpt, I gotta say, first off, this is one pale face. I really wish they just could have kind of added some sort of coloring to his face. He just looks like he needs some sun. Otherwise, it's a decent looking sculpt on the face. The painting on the eyebrows are looking pretty good. The eye painting looks good as well. Painting on the head is looking good. The First Order emblem there at the front of the hat has really turned out quite nicely, actually. That's kind of surprising. But the sculpting for that hat's looking pretty good. And something else special about that hat is it's removable. And this is where I kind of have a problem with the figure, aside from its bright white face. The hair painting is, I mean, it's kind of all right, but you get to the backside, and I don't know if this is picking up, but especially when he's wearing the hat, and maybe why don't I do that to see if it helps the cause. But the fading of that hair painting, is that, nope, covering his face. There we go. You get hair and sideburns here, and then as it comes along, nothing. So he's got a really bad barber. Not an even haircut there. So that's actually just, obviously, sloppy paint operation there. Paint application, rather. Going in on the body of the figure, and for a brief moment I'm going to keep it off the turntable. But from neck down, this figure, if you already have the First Order Finn disguise figure, it's exactly the same, except what I will say is that the generic version, the exclusive version, a little bit more shiny paint job through the paints and coat area and stuff. As far as the sculpting and the design of the uniform, it's looking really good. It is pretty much just a generic gray outfit. You do get some little code sticks or whatever with a slight bit of gold painting on the front and maybe silver at the tip top and the bottom of those. And then one thing I will say too, though, about the main body, the actual gray plastic itself, is there's kind of like these little white lines in there. Very subtle. I noticed it on the Finn figure as well. Probably just the plastic not mixed together too well. I don't know. But anyways, on his left forearm, the little cuff of the jacket there, you got some nice detailing. Little white stripes, and I have no clue what that says. Through the waist area, you do get a holster on the figure. And, generic black belt, but you get a little bit of buckle painting on there. Through the leg area, everything you would expect here, too. It's molded pant fabric with shiny black boots, but it's looking pretty good through there. As far as the articulation goes, of course, that head does swivel side to side and, nod around and stuff. That neck then comes forward and back. Shoulder area, a little tight, but you get pretty close to straight out, and then, of course, they do swivel around. At the elbow area, you can get up to 90 degrees, and then, of course, swivel that elbow. The hands swivel around, and this is where things are a little tight. It's an awkwardly molded hand, but it should go side to side, but you only get a little bit of range in there. And the other hand should be side to side motion as well, but you're just not getting a lot through there. At the waist area of the figure, of course, you get your swiveling and a little bit of crunching. More back than forward, actually. And then as far as the leg area goes, well, yours will be just a little bit different than mine, I hope. His right leg comes forward pretty well and back, and the thigh swivels. But his left leg on mine is stuck. I can't bend it forward or back. There's no moving that guy. But the swiveling at the top of the thigh does work there. And then at the knee area, of course, the figure is double jointed. So you get good range of motion through there. And then for the feet, of course, forward and back. And then you're pivoting at the top of the foot. And what would a First Order officer be without his weapon? And he, of course, does come with a blaster. And now this is the same blaster that comes with the First Order disguise Finn figure. Only difference here is this gets a little bit more painting on it. Instead of being all black, you get a lot of silver thrown in through the majority of the blaster. But overall, good sculpting to it, and I actually like that they added, at least some color to it. Alright, so there's two colors. But anyways, it's pretty good looking. And as I mentioned already, he's got a holster, so that slides in there pretty well. So overall, my final thoughts on this set. Ackbar, it's a fantastic figure. Really good looking, no complaints there. As far as the First Order officer, though, I want so much to like this figure. But, the face is just too pale, and that uneven paint job for the hair is really quite inexcusable. And then, of course, with mine, the leg being stuck, that doesn't help, but that's going to vary. I mean, generally, most of the figures out there are not going to have their legs stuck, so that's just on my end. And actually, strike what I just said about that leg articulation being stuck, because as I was moving everything in here, I put a ton of force on the leg, and it finally snapped out and starts moving again. Thought for sure I broke it. I didn't. So anyways, mine's good. Hair painting, still not good. Anyways, that wraps up this look at the Ackbar and First Officer 2-pack. I'd love to know your thoughts on this set in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.